Hey, boys and girls, weather report for Monday, June 20th, 2021. Is it? Yeah, it is. Oh, shit. I better get a new car. What's up?
You do for a new car?
Yeah, I just realized what year it was.
Oh, yeah? What do you get, one every 2 years or something?
No, fuck no. I run them into the ground. In my life, I think I've owned 2 new cars in my entire life, and but then I bought a ton of really, really great big-ass engine used cars, big monster Lincolns and T-Birds and Cadillacs, and then I just run them into the ground, and I ended up paying like 1% of what most people pay for cars.
Yeah,
because except
you
can't buy
do that. I mean, that's the best thing to do. Either run them into the ground or you trade them in. You know, you got to do like every 2 years, and that way you get a good, a decent money back from them, and then you just keep rolling over like that. Those are the two best ways to do it, whichever way you want to do it.
Speaking of cars, you know what really pisses me off?
Cars.
Well, that and like that, and it's like every once in a while, I always get a call from like a bot or something saying, "Hey, you know what? Your car's warranty is about to expire." And I'm like,
"Oh yeah,
you fucking assholes! I don't even drive. What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah. I was like, I'm a blind person. Why the fuck are you calling me? The problem I have with new cars is that they keep making them smaller, like Cadillacs and all. They're like half the size of my Cadillac. So
yeah, they don't make them big like that anymore.
Gotta buy it. I don't know. I don't know. I wish there was a country where they made big cars yet. I mean, I like to spread out. I like to get the KFC and get a little picnic table, fold down, and put the KFC all over it, and have a bunch of
while you're driving.
Oh yeah, a bunch of people partying in the back seat. I mean, shit. You gotta have room.
Well, what about the big SUVs? Yeah, the big GMCs, the big ones.
Well, they're too big on the outside.
Yeah.
My Cadillac's, not that big on the outside, but it's really big on the inside. So I like that. I don't know how they do that, but it's sort of a space-time sort of thing. But Yep, they used to be pretty good at it. Lost talent. So anyway, we were going to talk about John Maddox, and does anybody have any opinions out there about this guy that you would like to express? John?
I think he's a piece of shit.
Hashtag John Maddox is a grifter.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I noticed he's been all over lately. He's been everywhere, and we haven't really paid enough attention to him on our weather report.
He gets upset when we don't. That's why I kind of tried to make it a point. I don't know, a week ago or so, maybe a little longer, that I tried to make it a point that we at least talk about, because he mentions this stream all the time, gets very upset when we don't talk about him. So I'm trying to keep him happy the best I can, but
I know. I mean, we spend too much time on Cell, but speaking of Cell, he got really butthurt because somebody challenged him just a little bit, and he went ahead and he did that whole dramatic, thing where he, the thing is when you do a comedy bit, you got to learn when to cut it. You can't just keep doing it for 10 minutes. So he took one book after another and just went on and on and on. And then he replayed it on his show. He did it again. He didn't go quite as long, but he did it again because he was so thrilled with his performance. You know, that I've got these books and I'm a mathematician. And then he stumbles over and grabs his degrees and shows his degrees. Well, he's a little sensitive to people, you know, picking on him, but
questioning his education. He's done that before. Remember, I think he did that quite a while ago. I think from this channel, right? I think that sprung from this channel, as a matter of fact.
I think it did because he thought we were questioning whether he had degrees, and all I did was I asked, you know, what degrees does he have? Because I forgot which degrees he had. I never said he didn't have any degrees, and he went fucking apeshit on that, right?
Yeah. Because me and you, it was me and you who were talking about it, and then neither one of us were 100% sure on what degrees he had and what, because he has several. And we were just discussing it pretty much. We didn't say he didn't have anything. We were just trying to figure out between the two of us what he had. And he got pissed over that.
Yeah. The thing is, the reason that people question whether he has degrees or he knows anything is because of how badly he thinks. Yeah. And he doesn't think badly because he's an unintelligent man. He thinks badly because the Bible makes you dumb. I'm sorry. But when you start with the Bible, it makes you sound like a fool. No matter if you start with that literal interpretation of the Bible, you're going to sound like a fool. So,
and that's what he does. Yeah. I mean, he's young Earth, right? I mean, you know, like we've all talked about on this channel, he's young Earth. When you go young Earth, you know, you're going against every branch of science there is. You have to be. Because that's not what science says. Sorry, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old. It's not, 10,000 years. Sorry.
Shit. My co-host is gone today, Scott. So I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So who was that guy we were talking about before, John?
Hashtag John Maddox is a grifter.
Maddox.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was on Sal Cordova's show and he was on Smokey's show, and I've got a bunch of clips. But before we get to John, we just found something, and I've never really thought about this too much, but I've let's see, where was it here? Was that 330? 330? Was it 302? Hang on a second. I'm going to put my stuff on. Anyway, Sal Cordova had some brilliant stuff to say about the mammary glands, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think Sal, I never really, I guess he goes, I don't see him on other people's streams that often. A little bit, I guess, here and there, but.
Yeah, fellowship.
He was on that video that we had on yesterday. That was that Graham Gould guy there, and he's a real Bible thumper, that guy. He's from, I think he's from London, or I believe, or over in Europe somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's in England somewhere, I think. I don't think it's Australia.
That was where he did the whole performance on with bringing the books out, all that stuff. Yeah, which was kind of amusing.
Let's see, what do we have here? Sal. What are we doing with the books?
And that Graham guy, he hates atheists. He really despises atheists. I mean,
there was this one guy that hung around standing for truth, and like a raw math called Jeremy, who absolutely despised atheists. I would call them pieces of shit. Would say that they deserve to die. I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Because apparently he lived in an atheist country where he was treated like shit or something. I don't know. I don't know his story, but it was always weird. It also seems it's also very weird how a lot of atheists are Marxists as well. I found that odd.
I found Swami Das. One of the reasons why Swami Das upsets the Christians so much is because he is a Christian, and he supports evolution. So he really upsets the creationists, and that's why it says cell. I mean, he's just vicious after Swami Das, because he's accepting all of the science of evolution, and they just hate that because they can't attack him because he's a atheist and he has no meaning in his life, right? So
right, yeah. Well, that whole stream is this. No, this is a different one. I think that original stream that he did was like his rant, right? I mean, that was a 4-hour stream, and a huge part of that was him ranting.
Swami Das rant.
Yeah.
Yep. And I got let's see. Let me see if I can find that.
How can you do that to your brothers and sisters in Christ?
Easily, you do it.
Yeah.
How can you read a science book and accept what 99.9% of the scientists are saying? I mean, God, what an affront to Christ! Oh my God, it's horrible. Anyway, let's see. Okay, let's say I think this is the clip.
And why? What's the disease? Oh,
no, that's not the clip. So where the hell is it? Where is it?
Confronted evolutionary biologist. I said, okay, so tell me what's the evolution of mammary glands, and they do there's some really sketchy things that's in the literature. Like they'll say these are mammary glands that were sweat glands and they weren't. And they go back, but they'll say it evolved from a sweat gland. And I've looked into this, and there's some deliberate mislabeling. So I said, okay, how does the mammary gland evolve? And I had this picture of some guy sucking on Princess Sarah Ann Ferguson's toes. Okay, I know that sounds really
kinky,
gross, but I said, how did it evolve? So a baby is born and he starts sucking on the mom's area and trying to lick up the sweat, and then it evolves into a milk-bearing breast. I said, there's a problem with that. How does the baby not starve to death or quicker dehydrate? And of course, well, we have a phylogenetic reconstruction. I said, that's not adequate. How does it not die in the process?
Yeah.
And that's just
this is very depressing.
Why would the baby
I'll be honest.
suck up the mother's sweat? If you had a different
It could be electrolytes.
It's the electrolytes. I don't know. Yep. Anyway,
it's very depressing hearing him talk.
Yeah.
So sweat turns into glands?
Well, sweat. Let's see. I think that was Darwin's theory, the mini review or whatever that I'm looking at. Let's see. Basically, like what the hell is it? Like possums and things like that. They have glands that just kind of like secrete milk, right? And the babies do lick it up. And but he's skipping a whole lot of steps that I haven't thought about. I've never looked into it, but has he looked into it? Because
he claims to have anyway.
Yeah, if you just type it into Google, the first thing you get is a paper, The Origin and Evolution of Lactation. And, there's a whole lot of shit in here that we would, have to go through in order to figure out how did that thing evolve. But there's this constant, how did that thing evolve? And then they come up with this caricature, which is actually Kent Hovind invented, right? He invented this bullshit. Did we lose AJ? Where the hell did AJ go? Anyway, he's our Hovind whisperer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the stupid shit they say, right? And the point is that they never look into it, and they never consider, what may have been the steps that caused that sort of a thing to evolve, and how mammals happened. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people have looked into it and have some pretty good hypotheses about how it happened, whatever. So anyway, but we had some
electrolytes aren't going to keep
man, fuck you, Moina. Is that Moina?
alive. They'll keep alive longer.
Step one in that process.
I mean, they've got this view of evolution that it just sort of like that something had to happen like within 10 or 20 years and I like a couple of generations, and I just don't. And then they find these gotchas, it's like, oh, well, how did the baby live before he got the lick, before the milk was secreted? I don't know. Anyway, but we can look a little further into it because we should, right?
It's like it's like these people want us to be God, to have all this all this knowledge, to be able to answer all their all their every minute question. Like, how did this evolve? How did this? I'm like, dude, just figure it out yourself. Fuck you.
Yeah. It's like you said. It's basically God of the gaps, I guess you'd call it. Yeah. It's just we don't know. It's so complicated. We don't have the answers to everything. And like you said, Speed, their view of it is so skewed that, like you said, they have it down as 10,000 years. So how the hell do you squeeze all that in to that? You absolutely can't. And they dismiss everything. They're going to dismiss everything possible.
Yeah. And the thing is that they don't look and they don't think, and because they don't want it. They don't want to find a path. Because and that's why they will never know how to do science, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, if you went by them, I mean, you would just basically give up. You wouldn't be doing any, abiogenesis science, any type of research there, right? To just give up on that.
I'm trying to figure out.
They've said that, right? They've said, "Oh, that's just a waste of money," So
Immutable would
be. Go ahead.
Immutable doesn't have a wrench. What the fuck?
No, because you dethroned him or neutered him or whatever.
No, that was just I was supposed to give him his wrench back right away. Sorry, Immutable. I was wondering what the fuck this comment was about, but I didn't even notice you were de-wrenched. But I had to de-wrench you because I threw you out one day, or I put you in timeout because I was fucking with you. Because you were being a little weenie like Danny. You were learning from Danny, and I can't handle that. So, okay, so where are we at with these clips? So you got 547. We're talking about Maddox.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So 547. Let's see what he says.
With great fervor that no, it's been solved. I yield.
And John, I wanted to ask you. I know you watch a lot of other YouTube channels. I only drop in on.
He's pretending he doesn't listen to everything we say.
This is Sal. I think this timestamp is Sal.
This is Sal
talking about us, I believe, right?
My regular stalker channel every now and then, because I can't stand all the misrepresentation. I mean, the guy gives 2-hour shows on me twice a week. I'm like, thanks for all the extra views, but I'm like, dude, you need to get a life.
Oh, I do have a life.
I wanted to ask you, is anyone?
My life is, I'm retired. Yeah. My life is Sal Cordova and John Maddox. Mostly Sal. Yeah. That is my life.
Yeah.
On the internet?
Yeah, that was pretty much it, that he claims that we show, twice a week for 2 hours on him, which... we cover some of his stuff, but I think that's a little exaggeration.
Yeah, because
yesterday, go ahead.
He is just so goddamn much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. The crap that he says and his emotions. Slamming those books down.
I've read
all of these books.
When it comes to Sal Cordova. # John Maddox is a grifter.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So the next one we have is at 550. So should I go further?
Professor Dave.
He's going to slam Professor Dave now for a while. He has a problem with Professor Dave, with Swami Das, would be. But at least he'll say their names. He won't even say my name.
Yeah, he won't even mention your name.
Oh, that is a big fucking win for my life in general, right?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, he will not even say your name. That's pretty butthurt, I would say.
Tour's reputation amongst a lot of his atheist followers, I think Tour's reputation is going to take a real big fucking hit based on that channel that he's doing. because he has a position in a university, and I got a feeling his position is going to come into question because he started that channel. But he didn't care anymore because he's rich and retired, so he didn't give a shit. Anyway, so now we're going to finally get to the grifter.
Any further, what they would call complexity, right? It's just doing the exact same thing over and over and over until there's more sourced material. That's it. And if that's the case, how can you ever go from that, even if that were relevant, to life? It doesn't work that way.
Well, we have people who live in fantasy land. It's called the Atheist Fantasyland Projection Complex. It's a real deal. It's an actual condition, and it's usually exacerbated by the Droid C condition, which is the desperate rejection for intelligent design, and occasionally really exacerbated by ALMS, which is the Atheist Little Man Syndrome. And you run into so many issues. When you have those things in conjunction, I mean, you're destined for dumpster fire. But I mean, this stuff. The other thing, in line with what you were saying there, Matt, is from an efficiency perspective, the shorter strands replicate faster and take the resources, so you end up with a reduction versus a elongation. And it's like, come on, man. You've got that comment's great.
Easier chemistry would just take over. That's the easiest way of handling it.
John's little fantasy land, right?
Okay.
And I find it. Yeah, I booked him on it just because he talks about fantasy land, and you listen to everything he says, and everything that he says is fantasy land, right? I mean, it's just all his imagination. Everything.
Yeah.
Yep. He may study things, and he may study read papers and do the things that he does, but it's still all fantasy land. Where's all your proof, John? Why don't you write a paper? Why don't it's just
can't we call him Mad Ducks?
Mad Ducks, yep.
So I noticed that hashtag John Maddox is a grifter learned a new word. Exacerbated.
Wasn't Andrew in here?
No, was he in here early? Maybe
he wasn't here, yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Stick around, dude. Jesus, I need him.
Like, what's the over/under on how many times now that he learned a new word we'll hear exacerbated over the next couple months?
Yeah. Yep. He's got. There's so many Maddoxisms. We could have a little tiny pocket dictionary to simulate him. So anyway, because he overuses every one of them.
I got the audiobook and I listened to it. That was he was like a neuroscientist or whatever. He's debating on credulity. I've had in recent memory. You need to get the JFG, the phenotype is the author. I think his name is. He's debating on MDD. Goes by JFG. The phenotype. The phenotype revolution. This is he was like a neuroscientist or whatever. But he has written this book on supposedly it's supposed to be the origin of life. That is, I got the audiobook and I listened to it. That was one of the most incredibly dumb books I've ever read. In the things he's explained, like he claims, like yes, he has an entirely new revolutionary explanation for all this kind of stuff. Yeah. So by the end of the book, this dude is talking about how protein first was actually how things happened, and
what the
and was actually how things happened. And
I love that one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And some other crap, and I'm just sitting there like, I kid you not, right? So I'm listening to the audiobook, and I'm just sitting there doing literal double takes as I'm listening to this. I'm just like doing double head moves, right? I'm like, I'm just like, did I just hear this? Did I actually just hear this, right? And he's got this whole stuff of, I mean, oh my goodness, I can't even get it. My mind was being blown, and I'm like, this was written by a PhD.
I can just imagine you doing like
smarter than
Tim
that.
Allen, Home Improvement, and every time that he does that.
Oh, you have no idea, man. I'm sitting there reading this book or listening to this book on audiobook, and I'm like, am I actually hearing this? This was written by a PhD and published.
Yeah, so I was going to only say John Maddox is a grifter for the whole show. I can't do it. That laugh he did you just loop that a bunch of times, or was it looped?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay. I looped it a few times. There it is, the revolutionary phenotype. So this guy was on he was on Modern Day Debate.
So what I forced you for was to say that laugh that he did that you looped a couple times.
Yeah.
When he laughs like that, the face he makes is the thumbnail.
Yeah. Yeah.
The picture of him in the thumbnail, that's the face he makes when he laughs like that.
Yeah. So the revolutionary phenotype, I got it a few weeks ago, and just look through it to kind of get the theme. So he's talking about these revolutions going from RNA to DNA. And he's talking about DNA like it was this predator, basically. So it's like a predatory theory of some of the revolutions that have happened in life and how eukaryotes sort of took over and all these different steps. And it looks like a pretty damn good book. I'm pretty sure the grifter didn't really understand anything that he read or listened to. So all he wanted to do is criticize the guy. Oh, no, the sexual revolution was one of them. So let's see, what does he have here? This guy was on Modern Day Debate. Is that what he said?
What was his name again? I forget. The author.
Okay, it's J.F. Gary Yeepy? Gary Yeepy? JFG.
And he's there's something he did wrong too. Like he was on what you call it? I can't remember the one that the channel that blew up with.
Steve McRae's channel there.
Yeah, when he had the channel with fucking Kyle.
Non sequitur, right?
Yeah.
Is that the name? Yeah, that was the name of it, right? Non sequitur, right? Yeah.
And I guess he said some crazy shit.
Like, what did he say?
I think it was like some kind of racist shit.
Oh, he's a white nationalist, former neuroscience researcher, and alt-right political commentator. I didn't know that about him.
I know. Yeah, so they brought him into non sequitur with this other guy that was a black dude that was very, very active as far as going against any kind of racism towards black people. And then they put them together thinking that they were going to knock heads, and they ended up agreeing on a lot of shit. Because like Garepi, he promotes the idea that there should be a separation of the races, and the black guy agreed with him.
Holy shit, and I bought this guy's book? Yeah. Holy shit. But anyway, is this the same guy?
Yeah, I didn't know that about the guy myself, yeah.
They don't mention the book at all in his selected works. So selected works, organization et modulation du something in French, no. Let me just check this out here.
No, it's true. And he is a French guy too, yeah.
Yeah, but is he the same guy that
it's
wrote
the same
book?
Guy, yeah. He was, like I said, he was on Non Sequitur like 2 years ago now, I think it is. And they put him up against a black fellow that was like, an activist, for black issues and stuff, and then like they thought that there was going to be like a nice big war between the two of them, and they ended up agreeing on a bunch of shit. Like,
wow. So Leo knows who this dude is. So anyway, he's I don't know. I'm not promoting. He wrote a book, and I kind of like some of the stuff he wrote in his book. I'm sorry, I like science. You know, it's like I still like some of the shit that Louis C.K. put out. I'm sorry, I just like some of the stuff he put out.
but I mean, I understand Leo's distaste. He is a fuckstick, but like just mentioning somebody isn't necessarily promoting them.
I know. We're sitting here talking about Sal and Little Pee-Pee. We're not promoting them.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
We're just having a conversation here. That's all.
Okay, so let's see what else we got here. We're at 5:54, so 5:59 is the other one.
The world grows.
I've been waiting for Andrew to come in.
I understand why people seem to be, other than the ones that are like willfully refusing. I really am having a hard time understanding why people view the transcendent existence of God outside of space and time, or the bounds of the universe, right? Like, I don't understand why people find that so complicated.
Yeah, I think it's also
who finds that complicated?
Yeah, so
it's
complicated.
Pretty much unknowable and inconceivable, and part of the ineffability of God. I don't know why he thinks it's simple or easy to conceive.
Scott's here.
Scott, I'm so glad to see you. I was so lost without you.
It's good to be seen.
You saved us, Scott.
Who just left? Midnight, probably.
Oh, Midnight. He's almost like Andrew. He's sparkles away.
Andrew, I'm trying to get you to come in here. Anyway, Scott. Hi, Scott. Glad. I'm just so happy you're here. I was so sad.
Yeah, he went up. He was crying about it for like 20 minutes that you weren't going to be here.
Well, I'm glad y'all were able to get him off the ledge there, and back in the window. And
I mean, if
Leo Filius, I think, hit the nail on the head there. It's not complicated. It's just incoherent.
Okay, it's not even incoherent. It's a child's story. Okay, it's something that a 6-year-old would believe, and the only way that you can get an adult Christian is to raise them in the belief, because they never, because you don't see around it, right? You don't question it because all the adults around you are so taken by this story that you don't question it until you get into your 20s, 30s, sometimes even more.
Right.
But I mean, it's incredible how a Santa Claus story, a really, really cheap, badly written myth, has become so much a part of our culture that we get raised into it. Like I remember I was raised in a Christian community, right? And it was just like everybody believed it. So I mean, I stopped at around 8 or 9, but I was a pretty screwed up little kid. But I mean, a lot of my friends, just never questioned any of it. Just never questioned it.
And this goes back to why I pinpointed talking about, Fantasyland. That's exactly what you talk about, John. It's all your imagination.
It's your fantasy.
And everything he says, it's everybody is stupid, no matter who it is. No matter whether the person has a PhD or is just an average Joe that comes on these, streams and talks about science or whatever. Everybody is stupid if they don't come to the conclusion that John comes to.
Yeah.
Isn't there that famous Christian song, "Everybody's Stupid in Their Own Way"?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's he's just following. He's just following the song.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's as smart as John, Little Pee-Pee. Everybody's stupid because they don't come to his conclusions. And the funny thing is, his conclusion, it could be friggin' aliens. It's an intelligent agent. Well, that could be a friggin' alien, John. It could be anything. It's just your imagination.
I think I've finally decided I'm going to legally change my first name.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't blame you.
Please, because it's a problem. Yeah.
And that's the funny. Has anybody ever, I never, ever heard Little Pee-Pee mention God, right? He it's always intelligent agent, and he never says God ever. And he
That's why
never.
that's why I've started calling those guys secular Jesus thumpers, because there's just nothing recognizable about Christianity in them other than the fact that they occasionally quote scripture or claim they know scripture or something. But other than that, it's more discouraging.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put this, but that's kind of the reason why I came to the conclusion that, well, this Christianity stuff, it doesn't work. There's better ways of looking at the world, because it just doesn't work in people. If people who are nice are nice anyway, people who are giving and loving and gentle are giving and loving and gentle because of the experiences they've had or what they were taught and modeled as a child. And that's just a much better explanation than Jesus came in my heart. With that.
Yeah. And look at little Peepee. I mean, he's admitted he hasn't been to a church in like over 20 years.
Right. Okay.
So what kind of Christian is that?
He's a grifter, and his origin story has holes in it, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there are ways for him to recover from that and pretend that, he didn't talk about it when he was on his entrepreneurial shows, because you just don't talk about your religion. But I still don't believe him. And when you listen to him, all he talks about is atheists and how dumb other people are and how smart he is. That's all he gives a shit about. There's and recently I think the praise group has got him into the Bible a little bit, but he doesn't really seem to know a lot. So
he definitely doesn't. Well, like you said, he hasn't been to church, and I believe his whole adult life. I think he said it's been a long time.
Well, you can go to church too and not really know a whole lot. Because they recycle a whole lot of the same scriptures and messages, and they don't go deep unless you are at a bigger church where they bring in like a seminary professor from time to time and go deep in a particular subject or a particular book of the Bible.
So he's basically, I would call him an online Bible thumper, right? I mean, maybe he listens to sermons online or and then reading the Bible himself. I assume that's how, that's his religion there. I don't know what else. I don't know what else you could do. If you're not going to church, what else would you do? Right?
Is there any more to this clip?
Philosophical commitment. And I've showed this to the readers before. This is Mathematics of Evolution by Fred Hoyle.
What?
And he was the one who coined the word Big Bang.
Isn't Fred Hoyle dead? I don't know. So Mathematics of Evolution, I've never heard of that one. I don't own that book.
Is Sal still stinging over the digital gnosis thing? Because he just held up a big book.
He held up another book. Is he going to slam it down?
I have got to show that I know all my...
Nothing about the incompleteness theorem in here.
I would like to hear his opinion about is it Gödel? I don't know. Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
Yeah, he kind of got caught on that one. As a mathematician, I guess, I'm pretty sure they don't teach that much mostly you'll run into that in a logic class.
Well, it keeps him from talking about creationism or the Bible.
Yeah.
And that's always a good thing.
Yeah. So there's a hell of a lot more in that video, and that one I have not listened to. So I just got some clips. David got us some clips. And let's see. But before we get on to that, there's, let's see. I just wanted to show this real fast. I haven't downloaded the paper yet. Chrome tab, the origin and evolution. If you Google these things, like if you have a question, how did something evolve? And you Google it, this is a mini review. So basically, I think, let's see what kind of paper is this. I forget what they tell you. Ooh, there's a PDF available. So you can download it. I put a link in the description. But anyway, they go through all of the, the hypotheses that we have about how this thing evolved. Because, of course, we can't go back and look, and we're not going to get a lot of really good fossil evidence. But they show the differences in eutheria, metatheria, and monotremata, which kind of the extant species we have given us a clue about how it evolved. And let's see. But
so
go ahead.
Did you Google how did mammary glands evolve?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you'll come up with tons and tons of papers. If you Google anything that Cell is incredulous about, you'll find a ton of papers, and if you follow the lead, you'll find a ton more papers, and you'll eventually put together a pretty good idea of all the different ways it could have evolved. So it's not that difficult. The thing that kills me is that he never does that, and that creationists and ideas, they want us to stop doing that. They would put a stop to all of this talk of a hypothesis about how something evolved, and that's kind of what they want.
Well, and plus, I think you pointed out before that like they do Google searches and then they immediately go to page 50.
Yeah, or they Google search for problems with evolution, and Cell admitted to that on one of his streams. That's exactly what he searched for, is problems for evolution. Well, what did you search for the other side of the picture? Because I search for problems of evolution myself because I want to hear the criticisms, right? And I want to know what people think the problems are. Whereas I don't think he ever does that. He never searches the other side of the tracks.
He's just looking for ammunition because, you know, I mean, he even said it himself, right? He said evolution is a threat to him. If evolution was proven true, it would shake his faith. He did say that, right? A while back.
Yeah, he did.
So it's a threat to him, basically. So, of course, he wants to find any ammunition he can, anything that's wrong with it. And they all do that. John does it. Or, sorry, Little Peepee does it.
Yep.
You know, everyone. On Tangelo, look at him. He quote mines everything.
I still love that that episode we did here. I think it was here.
Yeah, with the paper.
With the paper, and then we all looked at the paper, and it didn't say anything like he was trying to claim.
Yeah. And he continues. Tangelo continues to read off of his little cat's board, and you see, like just recently in the past, few days, seen him on a few streams. And he has to, anytime anybody asks him a question, he has to go to that cat's board and read. Basic 90% of it is Paul Davies. Well, Paul Davies says, and I quote, and he reads off this. You look at all the people in the stream that he's in, and they're all got their heads, their face palming. Just recently, he was on, and what's his name, Pine Creek. Pine Creek's got a new thing with Tangelo now, and he puts it on his avatar, and it's like flashing lights and bloviating alert, and it's a couple of flashing lights, and he flashes that when Tangelo starts talking. It's funny.
Okay, I wanted to mention this is what does Cell call peaceful science? He has a name for it. I don't know, warlike something or another, like warlike pseudoscience or something. Cell calls it. I forget what it is, but anyway, this is Swami Das's site, I believe, and he highlighted a paper here. Functions are not so rare at all, and definitely not isolated in the sequence space of polymers. And I have not read the paper yet, or maybe I have. This is Nickel. I think I have. Romarat? I'm not sure. Anyway, at odds with the traditional view of molecular evolution that seeks a descent with modification relationship between functional sequences, new functions can emerge de novo with relative ease. So that's what the paper's about. And this is Swami Das comments that it's hard to pick something out to quote specifically, as the entire thing is worth a read. It says basically everything and more I have been saying on this subject for a long time, and you can see why they hate Swami Das. Because he's not only an actual Christian, with some Christian values, but he believes in evolution. Go figure. Anyway.
And what's his career? I don't know much about him. What is his career?
I think he's a PhD molecular biologist or something. I'm not sure if he's a molecular biologist. We'd have to check it out. So somebody could look that up. But anyway, let's see what else.
I'm sorry. I was on understanding he was an MD.
So maybe he was. Maybe he is. I don't know what he is. But anyway, he runs a site, like a website and a bunch of. I mean, he's been active for a long time, hasn't he? Yeah, I know him and Cell go way back as far as their war.
Yeah.
Okay, like some research interests. Let's see, profiles, Washington affiliation. Yeah, he's an MD, PhD, pathology and immunology. So, yep, that's his thing. Anyway, we do pick on creationists when they bring up an MD, so I guess that's fair. I don't know.
Yeah,
medical doctor, but let's see what else we got here.
Sal is definitely butthurt over him. He mentions Swami Das all the time.
Yep. Yeah, they can't go after his atheism, and they don't like that.
Yeah.
Okay, unfortunately, oh God, I almost hate to do this site, but I pretty much have to. Okay, so let me see here. What I wanted to talk about is pseudogenes. There's a bunch of Maddoxisms in here. Well, Mad Dump 1. I could do Mad Dump 1 and see what I had. I think this is where he comes in.
There
you go, John.
That's
okay. That's okay.
In the context of which I'm talking about now, I mean, it's what I find very interesting is like the whole premise of speciation is not that difficult if there is.
Okay, I just want you to listen to this sentence. So we're going to start it over. Just listen to this master construct a sentence.
There's some, I forget what I was going to talk about earlier.
Okay, that's okay.
In the context of which I'm talking about now, I mean, it's what I find very interesting is like the whole premise of speciation is not that difficult if there is front-loaded capacity and the ability for the real-time, basically equivalent of the activation of a variety of preset templates in conjunction with machine learning based on environmental variables. And that is much more in line with what we're actually observing versus the somehow new formation of all this structure and whatnot. I mean, it's like I was reading a paper yesterday about like I've been looking for some stuff on like specifics of like chimp human genome comparisons, and I was reading a paper from 2020 on this concept and they were talking about all these differences they'd found. Guess what they were? The vast majority were quote unquote deletions. I'm like, so you're arguing that the differences are the result of the loss of data. That's what you're arguing. I'm talking from the traditional evolution biology perspective. Like everything, you read all these different papers like, oh yeah, there was a deletion here and a loss here and a loss there. And I'm like, so you're saying that they had greater capacity in the past and have lost capacity in the present. And you're arguing that that is evolution towards new function while literally stating they lost it.
So this indicates that he doesn't know what he's talking about, basically. That, there are deletions and there's going to try to unpack this with a little bit of talk about junk DNA. And I was hoping Andrew would come in and kind of bounce some stuff back and forth, or Mutable or somebody. But anyway, could do it alone. This, I tried to find the paper that he's talking about. I think I found the paper that he's talking about, the difference between chimps and humans. There's a whole, at some point in this video, and I'm not sure where, he makes the comment that it just, the scientists were just amazed that they found that there were so many structural differences between human being brains, the brains of Homo sapiens and other primates. No, nobody was surprised by that, John. We know that our brains radically changed and grew a hell of a lot bigger, basically, in the evolution of hominids, right? And so no, it's not a big surprise. And they just pick on one thing after another. But this particular thing about deletions, it's a very common thing for there to be duplications, insertions, and deletions, plus mutations, and that is how evolution works. And just because there is a deletion doesn't mean that there is a loss of capacity or a loss of information. I suppose you could look at it if you want to count information as bits. When something is deleted, that would be a loss of bits, or not bits, but it would be a loss of, sequence information. But that's just how it works. The genome is like a jumble, and it is probably 90% of it you could cut out if you knew how to cut it out without screwing things up, and you would still have a functional organism. Okay, but that doesn't mean that 90% doesn't do something, that it isn't biochemically functional. It's just a misunderstanding of the whole complicated relationship between the phenotype and the genotype. And when there's a deletion, you can end up with a massive, you can end up with a change in the size of your brain, for instance, or you can end up with a bone getting much bigger because there has been a deletion. Because that deletion is what got deleted is the thing that stops the bone from growing in that particular morphogenetic field, to use a 75-cent word. But anyway, so Andrew's here. Yeah, I wanted to play this pseudogene part. So he was reading a paper the other day. He's always doing that, and he never tells you what the paper is. So you got to go to his Maddox log and wait for him to upload it. So
before we start,
yep.
Do you think it's like a complicated version of Tetris, our DNA?
Tetris?
Yeah, like it
kind
gets
of
deleted when you have a line.
Yeah.
That's why I said more complicated, because it's not like that.
Yeah.
At all.
I mean, it's just the interrelationships are so hard to sketch that you can't talk about loss and gain of information exactly. I mean, it's almost ridiculous to do that. If you do, then you got to admit that an onion has 16 times as much information as we do, right? Because they have a really big genome. So.
And this is a typical Maddox, right? Or what did he say? I can't believe, they're arguing. How could they be so stupid to argue this? Or okay, the whole scientific community is stupid, John. They can't figure it out like you can. I wish you would go and help them out. I mean, you seem to have it all figured out. They definitely could need some help, right?
What is the scientific community going to learn that before they put any paper out, we need to check with John Maddox?
Check.
Yep.
Yeah. Check with little Pee-Pee, because they got it all screwed up.
Yeah, they have to go to Nashville.
Yeah.
And then look somewhere between Nashville and Florida for a truck where John is living.
That's parked on the side of the road.
I think
knock on the door. Make sure you knock first. Especially if it's shaking a little bit, make sure you knock first, because he might be in there with his boyfriend. I'm not sure.
What are you saying, Andrew?
Oh, I was gonna say, I think you guys are forgetting that the scientific community is not a thing in a sense.
Yeah, it isn't.
It's not like an organization or anything.
It's a bunch of people.
Right. Yeah.
Oh God, cat! I got a cat. Okay, so I'm gonna play this part.
There was a paper this year about pseudogenes, for example, came out April. It was April this year. And it was basically, so turns out that we are now being able to identify with new technologies, or being able to identify the function of these long non-coding RNAs and such, which we've been being told have absolutely no purpose for years.
Right.
And then a few different scientists kind of stuck it, kept going and decided to, take the risk and search for function, and they found it. Right.
Well,
and now it's just like opening up whole new doorways.
Yeah, well,
things
the other thing is, the genome was never fully done.
Yeah.
They just.
Yep.
I this may be just my ignorance, but like, I thought pseudogenes were sections of DNA, not RNA.
Is that how did he put it? I think he was he's referring to this paper where they talk about
because that seems a little I don't know. I'm just suspicious of what he meant there.
Yeah, he got it from the paper. They're talking about long non-coding RNAs that get they get transcribed, but they don't get translated. And he's claiming that we thought they were non-functional, and there have been papers going back, I think, almost 20 years where they have found that it certainly isn't non-functional, all of it. So anyway, yeah, so he got it from the paper, and he probably worded it badly. So I don't know, maybe he doesn't know the difference.
I'm pretty sure those aren't pseudogenes.
No.
But yeah. Oh,
okay.
Wait.
Yep.
No Direction wants a link to join. Do you know who he is?
No Direction. I do.
Do you want to let him in?
Yeah.
I want to see who he is and what he thinks about evolution. I'm always up for that.
Put a link out there.
Anyways, continue.
Okay.
He brought it up today, which I knew way before that they just sequenced genome 8. I mean
by the way, there.
What is he talking about? Genome 8? You mean they got the 8th complete sequence? Because they just now announced that they have sequenced the entire human genome, including all of the massive satellite DNAs and all of that, right?
Right. Yep. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Man, the genome 8, like what he says that like so emphatically, like it means something. Like, oh man, like they're only up to 8. It kind of reminds me of like all the people that were, last year were saying, well, whatever happened to COVID 1 through 18? Like they didn't realize that COVID-19 was named that because it had started in 2019.
Yeah. No, now I can't remember who No Direction is, but he has a spooky looking icon. Anyway, let's see. So the whole thing about junk DNA came from. So I went out and found a paper on that kind of sounded like what he was talking about. Let's see who this is. Oh, you. Hi. Anyway, I found a paper that kind of looked like what he was talking about, and then I found it in his For Annoying People Drive, so I'm pretty sure this is the paper that he's talking about. So, but I'll see if I can pull it up. Window. And it sounds pretty much like what he's saying. So overcoming challenges and dogmas to understand the functions of pseudogenes. So this is a perspective paper, and what this perspective paper is about is that in the NCBI genome annotated database, and they put annotations on lots of genes, right? And if they classify them as pseudogenes, this paper is suggesting that they have been ignored and that we need to stop ignoring pseudogenes because they keep popping up in cancers and a number of other untidy places. And we need to pay attention to if they're transcribed and if they're translated. And then the whole paper is about pseudogenes, and it's a lengthy paper, and it gets into quite a bit of detail on pseudogenes and how we identify a pseudogene. And pseudogenes are identified in a number of different ways. One is they could be a straight up copy of a gene with mutations in it, that the mutations occur in the functional part of the gene. So we assume that the gene is non-functional, that the protein it produces is non-functional. That doesn't mean it doesn't do anything. That doesn't mean it doesn't create a protein that ends up having some biochemical activity in the cell. Like, for instance, for some reason, the testes, male junk, almost everything is transcribed, and a lot of it is translated. For some reason, the testes has a high rate of transcription, and we don't. It's almost like, holy shit! Talk about a cancer waiting to happen. It's like, so they find a lot of this stuff transcribed or translated in the testes. Another way we recognize pseudogenes, we can recognize there is a retro translation from RNA into DNA. So when the DNA is translated into RNA, it has these big spaces in it called, or it's a pre-RNA. It has spaces called introns, and those are spliced out. Well, then they see that the entire thing is translated back in from the RNA without the introns. So then we know it was a pseudogene, that it was a copy, and it was a copy mistake. And there are a couple other ways. There are a couple other real strong telltale footprints, like a poly A tail. Okay, when a mRNA gets transcribed, there is something. It gets a bunch of A's attached to the end of it. So when it's retro transcribed back into the DNA, it'll have that footprint of that big long string of A's in the DNA. So we can tell it's a pseudogene. That something went wrong. But now pseudogenes could have been copied back into the genome 30 million years ago. And after 30 million years of sticking around, mutating, doing this and that, they very well could have a function. So the paper is saying we got to be careful that we're putting the scarlet letter on them that they're a pseudogene, and people aren't going to research them, because every time we've researched them, we found out that, lo and behold, they do have some biochemical activity, and some of it's pretty important. Anyway, the paper goes through. These are the pseudogenes that have famously been found to have some biochemical activity that has an impact on us. And so, but the creation is I think there's 20,000 pseudogenes that they've identified. And I don't know how many they found to be functional, but it's far less than 1%, I think. And, and we got to continue to look. So what do you think of that, Andrew?
To me, saying, this tiny fraction of it is functional, therefore the rest must be functional. I don't know. I feel like we just need more data. I don't think you can make that judgment. Yeah. No,
you have to look into it. So he's claiming that instead of calling it a pseudogene, we should call it hypothetical or something, and just kind of leave it open so that people check it out.
Isn't that what's noted by calling it a pseudogene?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, the paper is complaining that perhaps we're discounting these things because we've given them this label. And I think if you go down to the conclusion of the paper, let's see. Okay. They could simply be, they're talking about, here's where they're talking about long non-coding RNAs. And let's see what else. I'm not sure if there's, the importance of terminology is what it is. That's what this is about. It's not about some new incredible discovery that, we just found out that junk DNA is functional. No, we haven't. And we should stop calling it junk DNA. It's workshop DNA. Because it really takes a lot of unpacking for the layman to understand how amazing this evolution and process is. Because we have this 10% that can create an organism that can survive, right? And then we have this 90% of stuff that's being hashed and rehashed and chopped, and it's almost like there's this entire workshop of junk parts laying around, and they fall together and they can become their own biochemical pathways. Like in some cases, these pseudogenes have been found to kind of augment the production of proteins and increase the amount of a protein that's produced because the pseudogene is transcribed and translated, and there are so many different ways to look at it, and it is such a complex issue that you can't just put some kind of a stamp on it. What the creationists need to do is claim that God created all of this as front-loaded capacity, right? And then what they need to do is tell us why it's mutating, over generations, and we can see that.
Well, that's all due to the fall, obviously.
Yeah, right. And why it causes cancer sometimes, and all that. All the fall, this genetic entropy and all that.
God forbid any of them actually explain why it is that the, blue whale doesn't actually experience cancer as much as any other species, despite the number of cells that it has.
Yep.
So, based on that comment, no direction, I'm assuming you are against these people.
Yeah, I'm like, I've picked up, I pretty well just jumped in. I saw the title that it was about John Maddox, and it's like, okay, cool, creationism crap. Yeah. And I'm totally against creationism.
Well, and I'm kind of surprised because most everybody in the chat is like, who the hell's no direction? I can't believe
No, I'm totally forgettable. I get that.
You guys,
you don't stop in that often, and you change your name somewhere along the line.
Yeah, once a year I'll change my name and
right, which I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You
I'm terrible
can't
with
even
names.
complain because I haven't changed my name yet on an annual basis for you.
Okay, but your icon looks like a stinky snake.
I will change my icon every now and then. I don't know, 3 months ago, my icon was just a picture of the baby cow that we have at the farm right now.
Oh,
that's all it was.
Baby cow?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but from a certain angle, it looked like Bigfoot to me.
What that?
Did you get to reach inside the cow and pull the baby out?
No, we just bought the baby cow.
You bought a baby cow?
Yeah.
At the baby cow store?
Basically, yes.
You live on a farm?
I don't live on a farm. We have basically, to upset all the Americans who might be watching who think this is a dirty word, we have a shared commune, which is a farm, and I have a lot of animals out there. So basically, any of the breeding animals that are out there, the ones that actually get to live, those all belong to me. And so all my relatives, if they want to breed with those animals or if they want to expand any sort of grazing pastures or anything that would involve my breeding animals, they have to pay me additional money.
Awesome.
So how often do your family members want to breed with those animals? I'm confused.
Every 6 months.
So
I've got chickens, I've got lambs, I've got goats, I've got cows.
So what kind of cattle do you have?
I have no idea. I honestly don't give a rat's ass.
Oh, really?
I genuinely do not.
So Nicholas,
I found something that looked cute, and I wanted to spare it the slaughterhouse, and so I just took it. And that's all the in-laws' business at that point.
So Nicholas, essentially, you're a pimp.
Yeah,
kind of. He's a pimp.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, here's the important question. You're on a farm, right?
The only real breed. No, I'm personally not on the farm. I don't get to be on the farm until another 3 years. But
but the important question is, if you've been bringing these animals, have you ever seen a chicken give birth to a non-chicken?
Oh, you're going to really bringing up the G-manisms there, but no.
Yeah.
Or the Ken Hovind, right?
Yeah, I was a little concerned with the way you said when you want to breed them. We're not a Christian YouTube channel. We're atheists, so we don't breed cattle.
Yep.
for example, my brother-in-law, he wants to actually.
Oh my God, I don't know if you should tell that. Are you sure you want to tell this publicly?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Because it has nothing to do with any furry shit or any zoophilia inclinations.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But no, it's like I buy, for example, a female pig, like an old world pig. Specifically, I bought the old Denmark protest pigs just because I thought that would be funny. Which is because of the genes that they inherited due to artificial selection. They display on their body the Denmark flag at a time when it was illegal to actually have the Denmark flag displayed anywhere.
Really?
Yes. So I just liked that little factoid. So I bought a bunch of those pigs, and as a result of that, my brother-in-law wanted to start breeding pigs. He bought some males, some boars. They impregnate all my pigs, and now we have a bunch of piglets. And then he slaughters his pigs. Mine get to live.
Denmark protest pig.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Huh.
I don't even know the exact breed of the pig. I just learned about that whole little factoid, and I just went, I want that pig.
Yeah, well, that's all right. I'd never heard of Denmark protest pigs before. That is pretty cool. That is a pretty cool idea. So did they try to slaughter those pigs because they were protesting?
No, they didn't actually.
They didn't hit them over the head with batons?
What would be the point of preemptively slaughtering them? Is that oh my God, we made Denmark more pork.
They didn't spray mace in their eyes or anything like that?
I don't know.
That's what we do to protesters here, so I don't know. I'm just musing.
Now, what about all the piglets? What do you do with them? Are they all going to be saved too?
Some of them do. We basically have to split them up, which is I don't like that. I don't like that whole enterprise because if I had my way, I would keep all the pigs. And I'm terrible for that. At my heart, I'm an animal hoarder. So it's like when I was 15 years old, I think we had 12 dogs and 35 cats.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Wow.
And that wasn't including all the other livestock and stuff that we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just because I named everything and they just became my pet. So it's my better half will take care of that sort of minutia. I'm not allowed to partake in that.
Yep.
Because if I had my way, everything gets spared.
Yeah.
So are you a vegan?
I'm a vegetarian, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not a vegan, but because I don't really see a reason why it's wrong to eat animal byproducts, especially if you know where the animal byproducts came from. So, for example, I will routinely cook meats for people, and it's due to animals that we knew that had died to unfortunate circumstances, we'll say. We have half a cow in our freezer right now, and it's because it was a comical series of events that led to it being kicked in the head by a horse, ripping around, and then running into a fence post and then basically gouging its eye on another.
Oh my God.
It was a fucking Monty Python skit, basically, is how it died.
Oh, shit.
And it's okay, great. We didn't kill it. It didn't really suffer all that long. Cool. I'll cook it up for you. And we still have half of it in the freezer. So I have no problem with that.
I think I'm too young for this conversation.
Really?
You just cook it for other people, though. You don't eat it, right? You just cook it for other family members, you said, right?
Yeah, well, my general rule is one deals with extended family and stuff like that is if they pay for the ingredients and if they buy all the stuff, I will cook it for them. And that's because while I do think that killing animals for sustenance is wrong, there's nothing wrong with eating meat.
Yeah.
So if you haven't killed it and you just bought it, you've committed no sort of moral affront. And then I have the sort of dilemma where I can go, all right, you can just cook it yourself, or you can have a delightful experience.
I'll be honest. I probably wouldn't even have the guts to kill my own food. I'm just putting it out there.
I could do that.
I've only ever had to kill one farm animal in my life, like personally, and I never will do it again.
It's a horrible thing, isn't it?
I was 10 years old, and it was a cat, like I live in Canada, in northern Canada at that point, so it gets very cold in the winter, and the cats tend to go up by the engine block for warmth. My mom went out to start the car for work.
Close your ears, Andrew.
Yeah, one of the cats got caught in the fan belt.
That's a really common thing for cats.
Yeah, 10-year-old me had to go out there because my mom ran into the house in tears. She couldn't fucking do it. 10-year-old me had to go to the workshop and had to grab the axe and had to kill this cat because part of its brain was laying out on the ground, but it was still moving around. It was still it was still experiencing everything, and I had to kill it. It was like at that point, I couldn't kill another animal.
Boy, for a vegetarian, you sure have some happy stories.
Back in Italy, everyone always ate rabbit, right? But ever since I was 2 years old and I saw my grandma killed one in front of me, I never ate rabbit.
Yeah,
okay, I can't do it.
Oh my god! I have a fun story about that. I asked my sister. My sister had a grad party coming up, and I asked her duck season or rabbit season. And so she bought both. And I cooked up rabbit and duck, and my niece was absolutely convinced that what she was eating was duck, and she ate all of it. And then we told her, "You haven't even touched any of your duck breast yet."
That's fucked
and she
up.
realized that no, she had been eating rabbit the whole time, and in her mind, rabbit isn't food. Rabbit is something you buy at the pet store.
Oh God, that is.
Hey, so Nicola. So you had said a few moments ago, if they bought the meat or whatever, they haven't done anything immoral. It's the ones that kill the animals. But so. Are you against hunting?
No, I'm not against I'm not against hunting. I'm not against people eating meat or anything like that. It's like if you say I'm against corporate manufacturing farms. Yeah, absolutely. And that has entirely to do with the treatment of the animals involved.
Yeah.
I will blatantly say I don't give a flying fuck as much about chickens as I do other human beings.
Well, right. And
cows are far above them on the pecking order.
But that was the example I was going to bring up. Like, there's just something wrong with, 10,000 chickens living in little, sick, 8-inch cages stacked on top of one another their whole lives.
Oh no, yeah, there's totally something wrong with treating chickens like that, but. I know where every single piece of meat comes from in my family. Whenever they assign me to cook them something, I know where each of the ingredients actually come from, and I know how they were treated. So I don't have any moral qualms in that respect.
Yeah, that's the way I grew up. I grew up on a farm, and we butchered for all the other farmers.
Yeah,
but basically our chickens, they were free range. Our pigs, my dad free range those once in a while because pigs free range real well. They'll come home, at night, except for this one goddamn pig who was a renegade. He used to run miles, but anyway, and our cows had 40 acres to graze on, in the woods and everything, and we treated our animals really well, and then we ate them. And there was a relationship that made sense to me, and it may still make sense to me to eat meat, basically, because of how they would not have been at all if we had not intended to eat them at some point, right?
Yeah. My family in particular doesn't eat pork, really. And the reason for that is when my dad was a kid, he had this pig that thought it was a dog.
Is this going to be a happy story? Okay.
No, okay. It won't. And so
he doesn't have any of those.
I live in the Arctic Circle. There are no happy stories. It's just us endearing. That's all it is.
So it was a pig that thought. So wait a minute. I'm just trying to guess where the story is going. So it was a pig that thought it was a dog, and then somebody came along that thought they were Korean.
No.
What?
Oh, John.
I don't know why you had to go to that racist angle, but thank you.
I would know. I mean, I don't see where it's racist. Koreans eat dogs.
It actually isn't. If you actually understand the ethnic diversity of the Asian people, there, Chow Chow is actually a breed of dog, which is where we derive the word chow from, because that particular breed of dog was bred for food.
I mean, here's the thing. If I was in Korea...
It made loading them up into the truck a lot easier to go to the slaughterhouse.
Don't dig it any deeper.
No, I'm saying if I was in Korea and they offered me dog, I would be polite and I would try it.
Oh, no, I've totally eaten dog before.
Oh, all right.
I've only been a vegetarian for 3 years now. And, basically for me it was... I've never really liked the taste of meat to begin with, so that was a huge issue. I did have the moral qualms of it, but I was also a member of the Glutton Society in Saskatchewan, so I ate a lot of things, and I left that society when I started introducing endangered animals and stuff. But, there are stereotypes that you have of Chinese people eating dog, and unfortunately it's true. And the Chow Chow was a breed of dog that was raised for food, and the joke that stems from that is it's really easy to get in the slaughterhouse because you just have to go, come on, we're going for a car ride, come on, car ride.
Oh no.
And then inside the slaughterhouse, they've got the cutout of a side of a car, and you open the door and it jumps through a fucking wood chipper or something.
Jesus, John.
Well, speaking of Chow, if anybody knows the Sonic franchise, these are the Chow.
So, Nicholas, how far north are you? You're way up north, you said?
He may have stepped away. He left a note saying he'd be right back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we scared Andrew off with the fourth happy story.
Yeah.
I also really love...
Sorry. Hey, Speed, thanks for having me on today.
Okay.
Hashtag John Maddox is a grifter.
Yep.
We'll see it. See you, John.
Well, that was...
Okay, who is Smoky Shit?
What?
I don't know. Somebody's in the backstage named Smoky Shit, and I don't know who it is.
Well,
probably Smokey.
I ain't bringing anybody in until they tell me who they... Well, I don't think he'd call himself Smoky Shit.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway. Hi, Danny.
I don't know. But I just wanted to...
Midnight,
okay.
Who is it? They said to ask you.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it could be Smokey himself. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm not letting anybody in. I don't know. So, I don't know. Probably Peter. Oh, let's see. I have a
name he'll know. Okay.
I don't know. Anyway.
Well, who are you?
So
Peter? I don't know.
So junk DNA.
Well, junk DNA isn't really junk DNA. I believe I found a paper once. I was trying to read to like Atheist Junior, or trying to explain, but
yep.
I can just leave until John leaves on his own accord. I don't mind. Like if he wants to be on stream and he doesn't want to be around me, I don't really care.
Okay, I honestly think this is Peter.
Yeah, but I don't.
I could be wrong, but I honestly think this is Peter.
Me?
No, not you, Danny.
No. Yeah, you sound like Peter, Danny.
I don't know what he was referring to. Sorry.
With his balls cut and caught in a vice.
Yeah, I honestly think this is Peter because he's the one who fucks with my name.
Yeah.
In the sense of saying that, you changed the name, Midnight. Pick a name.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going with Peter. If I'm wrong, then
It's flashing
Peter would say it's him.
Peter's icon back and forth.
Yeah, it's Peter.
He's going to use a soundboard.
See, it's Peter.
It is.
Yeah.
No, I just found out that Smokey is now using the guy we talked about yesterday, the guy who Dawkins made people think that was him. Smokey's using that as his avatar. So I found this mugshot of this guy who was had an arrest warrant against him for fiddling with a kid. So I thought, I'll have this one.
Oh my! This is a family show, Peter.
Well, it's a family show now. He's
well, it was until No Direction got here and told some happy stories.
It's a mugshot.
I don't know. Anyway,
why the hell is Smokey using that? I mean, he must know that wasn't him by now, right?
You should think so, but well,
I mean, it's all over the place. Everybody knows, pretty much, right?
You couldn't ask a Christian apologist to do research now, could you? I mean, that would be so alien to them.
So he had a guy on last night, and he was, and I tuned in for a while because it sounded like they were going to talk about the Bible or some Bible. They were going to talk about theology, right? And that's all it was Smokey with his fucking strings of insults, and he wouldn't let the guy talk at all. And I watched about 5 minutes, and it's like fucking boring, It's like, I mean, here he had an opportunity to talk theology with a person on his channel and produce some content that might be worth listening to, and he just totally fucked it up. And then I popped around the stream a couple places, and that's all it was Smokey calling this guy a trash mind and going on about his, how stupid he was and all this shit, and he wouldn't let him say anything. And it's like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's easily explained. The guy was probably more intelligent than Smokey.
Yeah,
that's when he does that.
But I mean, shit. Like every now and then, I like to pop into praises streams too and try to learn something about this weird arcane biblical, what do they call it, hermeneutics or whatever the hell, exegesis, or they're trying to figure out these weird passages from 2,000 years ago. And Praise's channel is pretty boring because they read the fucking passages and then they go and look up every Hebrew word. But I mean, I can't find any place where I can learn anything except for Scott, that channel. What is that channel? Oh, I forgot the name, but
Smith Vision.
Right? Vision, right. They actually give you context and history.
Yeah.
And man, that's great. Because that's what I want to learn about. I want to learn about the timelines and all that stuff. I mean, I don't have time to listen to this bullshit.
What do you call a Christian who's bad at hermeneutics?
I don't know.
Hermeneutered.
God damn.
Okay.
No wonder Andrew left. His poor little ears.
Yeah, I was going to pull up my little notepad and talk about junk DNA, but I don't think I'm quite ready to do it in the way I want to do it, because it's really an interesting topic, this whole thing about what that 90% of DNA is doing and how it points so directly at evolution.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the other 90% like supposed to help with epigenetic regulation or something? Like like it creates or it creates what is it, like micro DNA, micro RNA, like it has it's not it's not useless, and it's not junk per se. It has a use outside. It has a use. You know what I mean?
No,
just because
most of it doesn't. It doesn't really have any really clear necessary biochemical function, right? It has things, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have. Doesn't mean that it's not a chemical, and that it doesn't have some chemical activity, right? That it doesn't have some effect. It has some effect. All of it.
Now, does. I'm curious. Like, what other animals have, like, humans have like 90% quote unquote junk DNA, but what about the other organisms, the other genomes?
Well, the onion has about 99.9%. But the thing is, when you have 99.9%, in the way that the onion does, the onion has a lot of duplicates, just a ton of duplicates. And the onion will end up evolving very slowly because of those duplicates.
Which makes you wonder. Sorry, go ahead.
And there's some, like these, the things that they call living fossils. They basically, most of the living fossils seem to have very large genomes. And these large genomes include a lot of duplicates. So you would have to mutate randomly across the end. I mean, it's very improbable that the thing is going to evolve quickly. Okay, unless there's some sort of a massive bottleneck, or basically some little group gets cut off, then it might evolve. But I mean, it has a lot to do with genome size, how quickly things evolve, oddly enough. And onions, I think, are slow. Garlic would be faster. Garlic has a much smaller genome than an onion, so I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but it is all very complicated. But the thing is that you see, when you talk about evolution, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of different mechanisms, and it's very, very difficult to speak coherently about it all.
Yep.
I don't know. Anyway, I try, but I'm not a very coherent person.
Well, no, like
it's not coherence is the issue. It's you can't really speak succinctly about it.
Yeah, because it's really difficult, because you have to you end up going down so many different rabbit holes that trying to explain each individual kind of mutation and what might happen and how new function might arise. And then you complicate that with all the different ecologies and all the different things that happen to the species.
It's very hard. It's very hard to explain something you're passionate about to other people, because they don't have the same background knowledge as you. Like, as an example, I'm pretty sure No Direction has experience, like, when he talks about when he talks about ethics, and literally everybody is like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? It's like you talk about something you really care about, and everybody is like, what?
Not really. Like, to be fair, the instances that happens in, it's like, I'm speaking to G-Man and Beckel.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
So, like, I can dumb down the entire conversation with Beckel, where Beckel says, "Oh, well, your view is just subjective," and I explain why that's not actually an objection, but also it's not subjective in these regards, and what actually matters is objectivity in this respect. And then he just goes, yeah, that sounds subjective and arbitrary. Like, you can summarize any conversation with Beckel as anything you say about morality is he'll dismiss it as subjective, arbitrary semantics. And that's it.
Wow.
And it's like, that's not an objection.
I usually just accuse them of the exact same thing in that case.
Well, it's actually really, really fun because a few years ago, I had an exchange with Beckel on MK's channel where I basically presented to him divine command theory, but I just dropped the label God and just opted for a different label. And he dismissed all of it, even though it was his own ethical theory. It was his own, not just meta-ethical views, but like his entire moral theory. He dismissed all of it on the grounds that, like, okay, this isn't, like, there's no reference to the Bible at all. And that was pointed out to him, and then the backpedaling started, and that was pretty funny.
Do you happen to have a link to that?
No,
I do not, because MK has this bad habit of like getting like taken down from YouTube and then popping up every now and then, and people have suspected it follows a pattern of him being committed to his particular mental health facilities.
Or not even that. I remember, what was it, Bob the Trucker came up with the theory that that he's actually like a psychology student, and he's just pretending to be the weirdo that we've come to know, and he's actually, I don't know, he just had this elaborate theory.
A better example would be Rob Beasley, and Rob Beasley literally was like barricading a door to prevent the orderlies from coming in and cutting off his internet stream. And it's like, at that point, you don't engage with that anymore.
Didn't he write a book about God or something that was like 90%
He did that before everyone saw him committed to an asylum where he was barricading the orderlies out.
How did he get internet in the first place? There's so many questions in that story.
It's a failure of the American healthcare system.
Of course.
Wow.
Yeah. I can tell you for sure that like none of the people at the North Battleford long-term psychiatric facility actually have internet access.
So how did he?
Great.
You know what? I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to question it.
Is the simple answer to the other question you were going to ask? Like, how did he have that in his different country? Like, different country, different standards.
I'm still freaking out about buying this guy's book. Holy shit. That Gary Epi, or whatever the hell his name is, Gary Epi, the white supremacist. It's like,
I mean, just because you buy that book doesn't mean you're suddenly going to become a white supremacist.
My son
Why are you buying
the
book?
Well, because he wrote a book on genetics, and it was somebody referenced it on one of the YouTube streams, and I have no impulse control, so I bought it.
Well, that you don't. But I just okay. Personally, I read whatever I can get my hands on. I don't care whether someone's I shouldn't say it on air, but whatever.
Like, go on Google Preview and see if you can like do a word search for phrenology and see if anything turns up.
Probably.
I mean, honestly, I think we should take back we should take back genetics from the bigots. Because of eugenics and how it's been misused, everyone is like, oh my god, genetic engineering, genetic alteration. We can't do that.
Okay, wait a minute. A judge ordered him to undergo a psychological evaluation, which resulted in Gary Epi being very bright intellectually, while also showing a lack of insight and impulse control.
So, like you.
Speed.
I'm joking. I love you. I'm joking.
Really, you're gonna throw that stone in that glass house midnight?
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. I am insane. So.
Okay,
I can vouch for that.
Mainly on the plane.
Speed, I love Speed knows I'm fucking with him.
Doing, dude?
Okay, wait. He got an award from the
I just wanted to
Society
let you know
for
that
Neuroscience.
anybody hear me?
No,
Leo.
just kidding. Yeah, we do.
You're botting.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a bad bot.
Fucked.
Bad bot. Try again. Well, wait a minute.
Try what?
Wait a
Try
minute.
what
Anybody want to
again?
hear him? Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a bit of a delay there. Yeah, don't read his genetics book because it's going to be packed full with a lot of eugenicity. Gary Epi he's an ethno-nationalist. He's an ethno-nationalist and a eugenicist.
I don't think he says that any of that shit in his genetics book.
Well, not outright. No, that's not. Of course not. Why? He's not that dumb.
Okay.
He's actually not a dumb person at all. That's why Vosh actually criticized the debate that what's his name from the Serfs? I can't think of his name. Had with him because Gariepi was able to command the discussion because Lance, I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's Lance was just going down every rabbit hole that Gariepi was throwing out there. I mean, the guy's smart. He knows what he's doing when he goes into these debates and these discussions.
Yeah, I didn't find a thing in this book that seemed remotely racist or supremacist at all. It was just an interesting hypothesis.
Oh wait, did you read it already?
I scanned it.
No, you
like
scanned it.
Yeah, when I get a book, I leave it upstairs, and then when I cook something, I go through and scan the book to make sure I know where the information is if I ever need it. So.
What? When you cook something? What are you? What?
When I'm cooking.
No, while he's cooking, he go read the book.
I always have a
marriage doesn't adhere to traditional gender roles, Leo.
Yeah, I always have a stack of books that I have upstairs for.
I honestly need to learn. I honestly need to cook more. I've been eating takeout too much.
Oh my God, you're gonna die. You're gonna die.
I mean, if I don't lose weight, I'll become Shanny. So that's not gonna happen.
If you lose weight, you'll become Shanny.
No, if I gain, God damn it, I'm sorry, I misspoke. If I gain weight, if I don't lose weight, I'll become Shanny. I forgot the don't part.
You're gonna find yourself an alcoholic and somehow coerce them into being in a romantic relationship with you and making them effectively like dependent upon you by
I meant more becoming so heavy I can't get out of the fucking bed. That's what I meant.
To be fair, Midnight, Shani forgets the don't a lot too, so you'll get there.
I love humor.
I could never get myself to get into that side of the community. G-Man and Shanny and all them.
I mean, trust me, believe me, your mental health thanks you.
Yeah, I just could not bring myself to go there at all. I mean, I checked it out a few times. I'm like, holy shit, what the hell am I doing with this crap? Like, wow.
Hey, Speed.
So,
excuse me, guys. I found Swami Das's curriculum vitae, or vitae, whatever it's called. It's in the private chat if you want to look at it.
Why do you guys say it so weird? Swami Das. Swamidas?
Swami
Joshua Swamidas?
I didn't realize I was saying it.
Curriculum latte is coffee they serve at universities.
Sounds pretty good. Is it dark?
Probably.
I hope so.
No sugar.
Nope. Don't need sugar in your coffee.
Oh, let's see. Okay. He's got quite a list of credits.
No wonder Sal's envious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep. Poor Sal. He's emotionally.
Midnight. Spooky said you need a few kids to threaten.
Yeah. I just need to find a woman or adopt them or something. I don't know.
Now, if you want to be a real shanny.
Well, okay. Do you want me to grow a uterus and make my own kids? Is that what you want?
I mean,
don't know.
you can just pull a rev and take someone else's kids.
13
guys,
years of post-secondary education.
A
bachelor's, a master's, a PhD, and an MD. Wow.
I have no idea how I'm going to lure Andrew coming back onto this stream after today.
Yeah,
I mean, you could just say that you're not gonna talk about. You know what I mean? You just stick to the science as much as possible.
Yep.
Or just promise to spend a whole week talking about nothing but phylogenetics.
Okay. So this is yeah. I can see why Sal hates him. he's
yeah. Wow.
Okay. Education, medical doctor, philosophical doctorate, master of science, bachelor of science in biology. There's his funding. Got some of that. Okay. What else?
I wonder why Nikolai left.
I don't know. Then his let's see. Okay, these are his publications. Whoa. It's still going. Still going.
That's a lot of references.
Counting down. Yep. Okay. Oh my God. What is this? Editorials and reviews, conference talks. Holy shit.
I am a fat boy.
Invited talks. Yeah. He's got some cred. I don't know. Anyway, I think we're going to shoot her in the head, guys.
Yeah, and Sal
already
think it's all pseudoscience.
Oh shit! It's 4:51. Okay, I thought it was earlier than that. But yeah, if you want to shoot it in the head, let's shoot it in the head.
Yep, we're thinking about it.
So I missed everything about Smokey. Damn.
What's Smokey?
We're talking about Maddox and Sal mostly today. We didn't.
No, Speed. I have a quick question. Isn't Swamidass I don't think he's a creationist, but he's a Christian, isn't he?
He's a Christian. Yeah, he's a.
Wait, is he Old Earth or is he not a creationist?
Not Old Earth, but a.
Evolutionary.
Yeah. Yeah. What do they call him?
Evolutionary creationist.
Theistic evolution.
Theistic evolution.
Yeah, that's evolutionary creationism. It's still evolution. There's still creation
and
there.
He's not Old Earth, though?
Yeah, there is.
No, okay. What he believes is that the creation was that whatever the Big Bang was, right? That was how things got set up to create life. That's it.
So, well, then he's not anything. He's just a scientist.
He's a scientist.
He happens to be a Christian.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
A theistic evolutionist.
Yeah.
I don't.
And I think if you look in the Sidegard a little bit, you'll find that he's pretty much there too. And but
I don't know about that. Yeah, he's debating the topic of abiogenesis with R.J. Downard on Modern Day Debate tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yeah, but there's a big but. Is it tomorrow or Wednesday?
Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
The big but is that the two of them agreed that they pretty much agree on a lot of almost everything.
It's going to be a good discussion.
They're calling it a conversation rather than a debate. Mm-hmm. But James wanted a debate, so he's hoping for a debate. But I think it's going to be a conversation, and it should be an interesting one to two intelligent men.
It's going to be a very good conversation.
I like Cy quite a bit. I don't know. Anyway, shooter in the head.
Yeah, I don't mind Cy. Cy's a pretty good guy, but he sometimes he goes off on the timeline, and it's just like, whoa, dude! It's just like, look at this dude.
I mean, he goes off of the timeline. Do you want to also talk? You want to also talk about Neil deGrasse Tyson?
What did he do?
Well, he kind of said that, hey, you know what? Aliens don't give a shit about us.
I kind of agree with him.
He's probably right.
Here's the thing. The reason why that's kind of odd to say is because it's because we care about learning about creatures we deem below us. So his tweet doesn't really make sense when you think about it.
Well, the other
Why
thing
not?
is they probably can't eat us, so they probably don't care
Well,
about us.
no,
Because they can't eat us.
I meant more that that like we have curiosity about about animals we deem below us, so they would have curiosity about us.
If
You know
we
what I mean?
assume they think like us, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. If we assume that if we assume they're as intelligent as we are, but more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they could be more advanced, but at the same time, they could still be like, well, this creature over here is very fascinating. They may be below me, but maybe I can still learn something about them. After all, I may be advanced, but I don't know everything.
Keep in mind, if they're here to watch us, they've come quite a long way. I think they might go for something more interesting than the equivalent of watching ants.
I mean, it depends on the aliens, because just like there are people interested in ants, there's probably people interested. There's probably, you know what I mean. There's probably aliens interested in us.
Yeah, but if you consider the effort they had to go through to get here, they're probably interested in finding something equal to them, not any form of life.
I mean, if you consider if you consider the effort some people go through, to learn about the other species, they deem below them, then
But they probably bumped into more life already. I mean, we're barely scratching the surface. We would get excited if we saw the remnants of life on Mars. If we were able to travel across galaxies, or I mean, what then you would look for something completely different, because you've already seen alien life. You'll be looking for something that's pretty much your equivalent. So I don't think they would stop for long here, especially not if they're able to pick up TV signals and saw Trump. That probably scared them off.
I don't think they've come here.
I mean, okay, you could, honestly, I don't know. It would be nice. It would be nice to finally find out once and for all, because every time you talk about everyone
For
talks about
us.
aliens.
For us, but for them, we would just be another alien life form that isn't all that interesting.
Yeah, and they can't eat it.
I mean, speak for yourself, Peter. I'm pretty interesting.
I saw you on camera last night, so no.
Fuck you.
If I'm right about abiogenesis,
I was waiting to use that.
There's a very low likelihood that they could eat us, because they would have different amino acids, probably different nucleotides, and there's no way they could digest us. And until they figure out how they can process us into a digestible form, they're probably not going to show up. So,
I mean, I sincerely, what?
Yep.
War of the Worlds type shit, yeah.
No, but why would they? You know what? Just shoot us in the head. This conversation is.
Well, I've heard they only eat albinos.
We might actually make good pet food for their pets, so don't count that out.
Well, I don't think their pets could digest us either, unless they can process us into a reasonable form. The most they could hope from us is to use this as fertilizer, and it would cost too much to transport it back to wherever they are. So we're safe. I wouldn't worry about it.
Well,
I just found out today that in Holland we have a sort of pet food, a dog food, and it's called barf. I don't think they thought that.
Oh my God. Anyway, as long as we have the likes of Sal Cordova and John Maddox on this planet, they certainly aren't going to want to talk to us.
No.
And the only other thing they could do besides eat us is talk to us. And so we can rule both those things out. So we're not going to see them for a while. So forget
Look,
about aliens.
I'm going to pray to Jivas, that were visited by aliens by the time, before we die.
Doubtful. Keep
Yeah.
hopes up, though.
So let's see, what else did I? Amy Newman stream last night. You did a thing on the end of the world stuff, and like when I spotted in late, you guys were talking about feminism and stuff. What else was discussed last night?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I was really
drunk.
Just as
No, I
well.
wasn't.
You were drinking again, weren't you?
No.
Okay. The first step is to admit. Okay. Anyway, we're going to shoot ahead.
What?
What are we talking about?
It's a good question. I don't know why you're asking me. I don't know.
We're talking about God and how and how He's totes real.
Yeah.
Ever since we talked about that Danish pig, I've been wanting bacon.
Yeah. I'm going to have some bacon. Ooh, I have leftover chicken soup. Excellent.
You still sick? What's ailing you, Speed?
What the fuck is wrong with people on chicken soup? I mean,
chicken soup. According to Jewish culture, chicken soup is a remedy for all ailments. So if you eat chicken soup, you're obviously sick.
I mean, it works.
Okay, yeah.
There is a running gag of this Jewish guy who had a sick chicken and a healthy chicken, and then slaughtered the healthy chicken.
Okay, what's ailing me is I'm hungry. That's what's ailing me, and chicken soup cures that. And my grandpa and grandma made this soup every Sunday, and it consists of either chicken or beef and noodles, and you put in tomatoes or tomato sauce, and it's called hangover soup because they had it every Sunday.
Bunch of goddamn geeks.
Bohunks or Polacks.
Bunch of goddamn geeks. Ooh, that last word sounds off, dude. Jay, you're pushing it right there, buddy.
I mean, you are a geek.
That's one syllable off. Not one syllable. One vowel.
Yeah, this just in from Demeter. I just thought I'd show it to you, Speed.
Oh, where? What? Oh, Speed.
You're sharing it.
Junk DNA.
Man,
Yeah.
Speed. You're such a boomer.
Yep. That's what I need to do. I want to actually show stretches of DNA and try to identify some of the, just look at a real stretch of DNA and spot around and see what we find. But yeah, okay.
I want to look at DNA in 3D. Like, you know what I mean?
Have any of you considered going on to Nephilim Free's channel, because he's got amazing videos of cellular machines that are totes real.
It's not worth going there.
Never thought of going there.
Leo.
Did Immutable ever recover from my not? Immutable was like he hasn't had a wrench for weeks. It's horrible.
Oh, he'll be fine.
You think he'll be fine? Maybe I should call him and try to make nice. Anyway, okay.
Maybe you should call me.
Has anyone heard of Otangelo? How he's doing?
Otangelo
after his divorce from Darth.
He's really butthurt.
He's butthurt in so many ways.
Yeah.
I literally told him that was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. It happened earlier than I thought, actually.
Yeah, I warned him about that other guy, the stinky guy that went after him, and then all of a sudden that happened, and and then he talks about us, and I think we've treated him. I mean, we make fun of him once in a while, or make fun of his ideas mostly, but I mean, as far as I don't think anybody's ever said anything bad about the man, on this panel.
I don't think so either. I mean, I've got the soundboard. He thought it was funny.
I know, and he thought the Benny Hinn song was fun.
Yeah, if it's just going to be a joke, then it's nothing more than just a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, he was really butthurt about the song, the Benny Hill song first. Then after a little while, then he came on and he said, "No, I'm fine with it. It's kind of funny." And
he even
now
asked
he's
me to
back
play it.
Yeah, now he's back to he's all butthurt about it again.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is he butthurt about?
The
The
Benny
song.
Hill song.
The song, we made fun of him.
Anytime
Benny.
Oh, we won't listen to his ideas about the ribosome and the cell and things like that. He got really mad at me because he wasn't getting through to me on the ribosome.
Well, we started playing that. Speed started playing that song because he would come in and he would, like, you know how he would take over the chat. He
Take
would
over the show, right?
Yeah, and then he'd jump on the stream and he wouldn't shut up. He'd take over the whole show. It would all be about him. So that's how the song came about, because it was here's the Antangelo show, and that's what it was all about.
I think he's just also trying to pull Darth Dawkins type behavior by just trying to control the conversation, control where it takes place, and what you get to talk about, and shit like that.
I have to doubt that. So I think he really likes to talk about the topics that he likes to talk about, whereas Darth is controlling. He will control the stream. He will decide who's going to be part of the stream and who isn't. And I don't think Otangelo is like that.
No, I think it's the same frustration we feel when talking to creationists. Like when I talk to him and I feel the same frustration. We both have a body of knowledge, and from that we have intuitions about what to believe, what we believe is the truth, right? Mm-hmm. And he is so solidly persuaded by his own ideas that what he has is the truth, that he gets frustrated. He got frustrated when he talked to me on Gurmania. He called me out. He challenged me from the chat, and I came in, and I basically just ripped up his idea about ribosomes. And he from that conversation, what he got is that I was as impenetrable as I think he is, which is really disconcerting for all of us, atheists and creationists alike, right?
Monkey for Banana the First is in the chat.
The first?
Yes, Monkey for Banana the First is in the chat.
Who the hell is that? The first?
Yes, we all know Monkey for Banana the Second.
Okay,
but
okay.
Monkey for Banana the First is now in the chat. Yes.
Leo, I found something you're gonna enjoy. Just give me a minute. I need to screen share it.
The way, Speed, do you have a link to that stream? Because I only caught like the last maybe 5 minutes of that discussion when it was live. Do you have a link to it with the timestamp?
To Gurmania?
Yeah.
Speed. One of your favorite people is in chat now.
Yeah, it's Stanley. He's asking for an invite. We've invited him many times and he never comes in.
Wait, is he really?
Let me help him out.
By the way, Speed, would you mind screen sharing this for a second? It's very, very funny, and Leo will definitely get a kick out of this.
We are screen sharing it.
Okay, I'm looking over here. So, if the universe theory is true, then there's a universe where it isn't. Multiverse theory doesn't cover paradoxical situation, except in the universe where it does.
Wow.
I thought you got a kick out of that.
That's what those discussions are like. Good old possible world semantics.
Speed.
There we go.
Keep an eye on the back room. I put the link to join. Standing really wants to join. So Standing.
I mean, come on, Standing for truth. Come on, man. I love you. You're a good friend of mine. Maybe, I don't know, but just come in.
We got 1 minute, and I'm going to shoot it in the head. So you got 1 minute, Stanley, to show up. But Jesus Christ, I don't have the energy to talk to him right now.
Well, here's the idea. Leo, that's very annoying. Here's an idea. Why don't you go get your chicken soup and bring it over here? So that way you can gain strength
and share it so we can all be healthy.
Yes.
By the way, you nailed it with the thumbnail for this stream.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Yep. Okay, guys, I think we're going to end this thing. It's not going to. Nothing
Party
good is going
won't
to come.
start until Athena walks in. So, Standing, are you gonna come in or not? Come on, honestly. Come
He
on.
ain't coming in.
Prob's not the.
But he has an open. Stanley, you have an open invitation to come in and spend an hour talking one-on-one with any one of us. So anyway, we're shooting in the head, guys. I need to go. I've expired.
Stay curious.
I've expired. Okay.
Buy more butter.
Goodbye, cruel world. Eat chicken soup.
Bye.